Mixtresses and Mixters. This is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress video. We're doing a collective reading today, I think. I don't know, I always have like an idea of what's happening, but then we will just have to see what actually happens. So I have been feeling really weird this week. Just kind of like overly cynical and pessimistic for me personally, because as I've mentioned before, I consider myself a delusional optimist. So it's not really natural for me to be overly cynical. But I've just been really like bogged down by the world lately. Bring my purple hibiscus water. And like I've just been like getting really sucked into thoughts of like, well, humanity's fucked, and you know, that kind of stuff. And you know, I do agree with that, but it just really doesn't help to be stuck in that space. So I asked my friend Gita, who is very knowledgeable about astrology, like, what the fuck's going on right now? And she said two things that this reading is going to be somewhat focused on. She said that Saturn is in retrograde until November. This angle is weird because I wanted you to see this candle holder that I just got. And then she also said that we have had 2 full moons in a row in Capricorn. So that, to me, explains some of this, which is everything's feeling heavy, everything's feeling like we gotta get shit done. It's a lot right now, right? So I'm gonna read you about Saturn. Rules Capricorn. So, you know, it's in its home. So like for me, it feels like I'm able to get things done in a way that I'm usually not. Like my executive functioning is actually better right now. However, I'm feeling worse. Like everything's feeling very cynical, very, you know, like, you know, we're all fucking doomed. Everything's the worst. I keep watching these videos about like people talking about like, you know, TikToks and how fucking absurd different TikToks are, and you know, stuff. I don't even have TikTok, like, you know. But anyway, I just thought, you know, anyway. So Saturn rules Capricorn and the 10th house. And the 10th house is, I don't have this memorized yet, what all the different houses are. The 10th house is career, society, success, recognition. Saturn teaches discipline. It creates limitations in order to grow. It is a strict parent, offering great reward for a job well done. Responsibility, maturity, dedication, perseverance, and structure are among its features. So I'm going to read the shadow side here just because it's in retrograde right now. Pessimism, repression, isolation, cynicism, and strictness. So that is definitely something that I'm feeling at the moment. I got the 5 of Swords reversed the other day. That feels significant as well. That sense of isolation, you know. Okay, I got a whole stack of oracle decks here. I might as well start with mine that I have out right here. So I'm just kind of wondering for this reading, like what the fuck is up with the Saturn in retrograde? How can we navigate this? I wonder if it would be cute to sort of prop these cards up in the background. Gotta put it under the bat, right? Can you see everything? I feel like Capricorn is maybe more important to see than the full moon card, because the full moon isn't coming up until the 21st. I'm recording this on the 10th. I have been, I don't know, I might post this video immediately. I haven't been doing that lately. Join my Patreon if you want to see all my videos like a week early or several weeks early, depending, because what I've been doing anyway, this is a newer development, but I've been just, as soon as I record a video, I upload it and send the link to my patrons unlisted, and then I just am trying to like make public only one video per week, because I don't know, I feel like it's excessive when I do more than that, and I don't want to get burned out. Maybe I can set this over here. Yeah, that looks cute, right? And then we can have these propped up, perhaps, since this is kind of what the reading is about. It's about the full moon in Capricorn and Saturn in retrograde. I am sweating. Okay, I'm gonna pull a card from the Brother to Brother Oracle, which also has a full moon card in it. I was just gonna say it would be fucking crazy if I pulled the full moon card. Hello. Okay. We're just gonna put it right next to the other full moon. So, and that's kind of like doubling down on this full moon energy, right? Because we have the 2 full moons in Capricorn in a row, because that was last month's full moon as well. So it's heavy. And then the fact that Capricorn is an earth sign, like, to me, this is presenting itself as being very heavy. Let's read what the guidebook has to say about the full moon. I feel like the moon phases are maybe towards the end. Yes. Okay, full moon. You've done it. Tasks have been accomplished. Now is the time for you to reap, and reaping is something that actively needs to be done. No sitting back and relaxing for you just yet. You have to collect your rewards, and frankly, this is something people often forget. So, questions for reflection. What would I like to reap during this time? Have I ever forgotten to reap what had been sown? What does the process of receiving and accepting mean to me? I'm loving how this full moon card looks against the back of my Magic and Medicine of Plants Oracle. Yes. Anyway, this is interesting, because I've been doing like bigger things on the list lately. There was one huge thing that I had to take care of recently that had to do with insurance. It was something that was completely out of my depth as a person that's never considered herself a real adult. I fucking hate paperwork and things like that. It felt impossible and insurmountable because I did not know what I was doing. But I got it done. And this would have been around the last full moon, too. I got it done, And I'm proud of myself because I saved us a lot of money. Like, we were getting to a point where, with our homeowners insurance in particular, it was getting scary. And I know some of y'all are just like, I am just lucky to even have, just the stars aligned for us that we were even able to get a house. Because if, like, the way that it is now, we wouldn't have been able to buy a house if we were looking for one right now. There's no way. So we are so fucking lucky, first of all. But I was able to do something that really helped us a lot. And it was a stupid grown-up thing that they don't fucking teach you how to deal with in school, and I really believe that they should. You know, you should have a whole fucking class that teaches you how to deal with this stupid adult shit. Like, fuck trigonometry or geometry or whatever the fuck. Or even history. Like, history should be an extracurricular. Like, you learn everything else and then you decide to learn about history. I don't know. I feel like they should teach you the practical shit, like how to secure a mortgage, what you have to do year to year for upkeep on your home, or, you know, things like that. How to get along with other human beings at the workplace. I don't know. I just feel like there's so many things that we could be learning that we're not. And that's a part of, like, this is the way my brain is working right now. It's like, I'm constantly coming back to, well, our society is fucked because of this. Our society is fucked because of this. There's this wrong, and there's this wrong, and there's this wrong. And that is what we are seeing right now with everything. That's just where my brain is going. So this is partially like, I don't know why I'm not flipping these cards over yet, but apparently there's a reason for it, because I'm not. I actually want the bird card to be up here. I'm doing a card from Feathered Omens right now. And we're going to have some fun with guidebooks. Well, guidebook. I guess the only one I brought out was the Feathered Omens guidebook, but okay, I think it's this one. Okay. And I also, just because it just felt right, I got out Tantric Dakini. I show it to you like, duh, Tantric Dakini is in the leopard bag. Like, what else would it be? I mean, look at how beautiful that looks. Oh my God, I'm such a materialistic whore. Okay. Oh shit, I just knocked over the whole stack of cards. I'm just letting it happen now. Okay, well, that's part of it. I think, you know, also a theme is relinquishing control. Something that I have noticed. The only two decks that did not fall on the floor were the Brother to Brother Oracle and my Magic and Medicine of Plants. And of course, the one in my hand and the one on the table. Everything else is in a jumbled mess on the floor. That's okay. That's all right. So, speaking of relinquishing control, so I have to let go of the fact that I really want to immediately pick those cards up, but I'm not going to allow myself to do it. I'm going to let them sit there. I'm going to let them sit there. They needed that. They wanted it. I'm also realizing there are some themes of control in my life, as far as like my dynamics with certain people, that I need to let go of some of that control, and so do they. Okay, we got two cards from Tantric Dakini, and quit crossing my legs because it's like so hot in here that crossing my legs is making them sweat. It's okay. I'm embracing it. I'm embracing the summer. Just gonna set this down. I guess this could be a good little guide for what you can actually see so that I don't put any cards there. Okay, I want to start flipping over now because I think we've pulled all the oracle cards that I plan to pull, and then I'll start pulling tarot as well. Okay, so our feathered omens is the Wren. Be bold and resourceful. Yeah, it's just like all these fucking grown-up words like responsibility, resourcefulness. Again, with like Capricorn, you've got Capricorn's like the 2, the 3, and the 4 of Pentacles. Yes. Yes. So in that, you've got, you know, like checking things off the to-do list, teamwork with others. And then, you know, that 4 of Pentacles sort of like you've got the resources and now you need to hold on to them. You know, it feels almost like this Saturn retrograde is pulling us back to this vibe of, it almost feels like the beginning of the year, like as far as like planning and to-do lists and planners, and like it feels like we've got this brief window back into, and it's kind of like this always happens halfway through the year, right? We sort of reassess. But it's feeling particularly heavy at the moment, at least for me. And Gita told me, you know, like it probably is heavier for me because Saturn is in my first house, which is where most of my planets are and where like everything is very deeply rooted in identity. I identify as not being a resourceful, responsible adult person, but right now I'm learning some things for the first time at 41 years old. For some reason, these Tantric Dakini cards are really wanting to come out. Card number 48, White Lady, Mother of Pearl, which is a water card. And it's about addictions and apathy. Interesting. It's like either it's almost like we're addicted to things, but we're also really apathetic about it. Like she's letting these pearls, these beautiful pearls, she's letting them just fall out of her hand into the abyss. And she also has an abyss attached to her. Maybe it's a womb abyss. Okay. So after saying the words womb abyss, like I'm thinking, are there any of y'all out there that feel like, I mean, this is so cliche, but like your time is running out sort of thing? Your time to be a mother running out? Or have you lost a pregnancy? That's extra heaviness. Like I'm just over here talking about how I had to switch insurances lately and it's just like so hard, and like, but I'm not dealing with that kind of grief. So I just want to take a moment for any of you that might, which I've never looked at this card like this, so it makes me think that maybe one of you is dealing with either loss of fertility, actual loss of a child, or someone you love. Because for some reason it's just incredibly sad to me to see these like pearls sort of falling out of her hand. Like maybe the sort of apathy that she feels after such a huge loss is leading her to addictive behaviors right now. And again, in witchy ways, the full moon, the way I see it anyway, I mean, I know there's, you know, different ways to see it and just, you know, go with whatever way works for you. But for me, when the moon is full, that is a time to commit to letting something go. So this card could be viewed as like she's letting go of some addictions that aren't helping her. Maybe she's letting go of something that she really needs to let go of in this case. And there is a sadness to it. Sometimes, like, have you ever experienced this where you're like, you're giving something up that you know is bad for you, but initially you have this numbness. Like, at first it's like really exciting when you're giving something up. It's like, I'm ready to do this for myself, and you've got momentum and you're getting it done and you're doing something good for yourself and it feels great and all of that stuff. But then you hit sort of a plateau with that, and that is usually the prime time that you could get sucked back into the addiction again, because you feel this numbness for a minute. And the numbness usually comes before, I mean, this obviously is going to present differently in different people. But for me, there's this sort of like, you're mourning the loss of the thing that you chose to give up because it was bad for you. And it feels very weird to mourn something like that because it was bad for you, but you're still mourning it. You're still mourning, like, people that have lost incredible amounts of weight, that have like been heavier all their lives, and they start losing weight. Like, a lot of people will say that, like, there's a really emotional period after you've lost that weight where you realize that you're more raw than ever, because in the time period that you were, it was a coping mechanism. Whatever the addiction was, it was a coping mechanism. So for these people that lost a lot of weight, they suddenly feel more vulnerable because that weight was actually insulating them from a lot of their feelings. And so sometimes they don't get through that stage, and they start, I mean, I would assume that this type of cycle would apply to any addiction, whether that be an addiction to sugar or fatty foods or whatever, versus an addiction to alcohol or an addiction to shopping or whatever it is. When you're giving it up, there's a reckoning that happens where you have to face those things that you weren't facing because you had the coping mechanism that you had that wasn't good for you, that you decided to give up. You know what I mean? And then we have card number 33, Eternal Life, Clarity and Resolution, which is a fire card. So that's really beautiful too, because it's like, I do really feel like we're on this sort of precipice right now of, like, we have a window. It's a window into us finally closing the door on shit that's not good for us. We have a window, and we can actually make meaningful change right now. Make sure this isn't like totally in the way. Okay, so then we've got, I am open to love in various forms. I just finished reading this book it's called Lost Connections by Johann Hari. And it's about depression and anxiety and, like, what is a real antidepressant. And they've found, by and large, that, like, chemical antidepressants, which would be, like, you know, a pill that you take for depression and anxiety, like, those are, by and large, like the studies have shown, they don't help people very much. Like, maybe they will be helpful for a short period of time, but it's not a long-term solution. Almost everybody, like, eventually starts feeling the way that they felt before, and then they have to change their medications or up their dosage, and the side effects of those medications are actually like more effective. The side effects are, what is the word that I want to say? Not more effective. The side effects are actually like what's really happening with those drugs more often than them actually being antidepressants. And there's all kinds of research that supports this that he outlined in his book. He's a really good writer. He is like an investigative journalist kind of person. I love his books. But anyway, the main thing that he found was like that actually helps people with their depression is connection. Connection to humanity, connection to nature, connection to meaningful work, connection to, you know, like a community. We need each other. We need to help each other. That is the way out of depression and addiction. And of course, I don't mean to suggest that we can save people. I mean, you as an individual need to seek that connection. You cannot connect to someone that refuses to connect back. You know what I mean? But if you are someone that is suffering from addiction, like, you can reach out to people. You can find people. Wow. Freedom 90 by George Michael. Gotta have some faith in the sound. It's the one good thing that I've got. I won't let you down, so please don't give me up, because I would really, really love to stick around. Today, the way I play the game is not the same. No way. Gotta get myself happy. All we have to see is that I don't belong to you and you don't belong to me. Freedom. I think there's something you should know. There's someone I forgot to be. I just hope you understand. So, to me, I see this as a coming out anthem, you know? And again, we've got this moment of clarity and resolution. I am open to love in various forms. The full moon, the wren, bold and resourceful. Like, it is time to make a change. It is time to do something very fucking brave. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. You know? There's some different way to live in this new, like, recovery era of your life. There's a new way to live. And it ain't the way you have been living. And this is a good time to start putting things in place for that change. Starflower, joy. Yeah. We're moving away from the apathy, I think. Or we have the potential to, anyway. I was staring at my tarot decks for a very long time because I wanted to pick something different than just the Rider-Waite-Smith for you guys today. And the only thing that just kept jumping out is Santa Muerte. It's just like my summer tarot deck right now. Okay. Probably pull like 4 cards. I think I can fit 4 cards on here. I kind of like this setup actually, because I can fit more cards since there are some that are propped up. Although let me know if it's really annoying to look at it this way. Okay. We've got the 5 of Cups and the Page of Swords. And we've got the 9 of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. Okay, Actually, I'm going to put this Ace of Swords next to this Clarity card because, yeah, that's just sort of reinforcing that. You know, we got this double clarity, this double full moon. And Freedom 90, this is a very fucking joyful song. You know, have you ever sang that karaoke? I highly recommend. Oh my god. It's just so fucking moving. Yeah. Be bold and resourceful. Joy, freedom. I am open to love in various forms. We've got this sort of like, it's almost like the contentedness and the joy that you have within the self will radiate out. It's like you got to get right with yourself before you can get right with the world. And that really does come back to the George Michael song as well, because I always, you know, looking at the lyrics, I see this as a coming out song, although he didn't really come out at that time in 1990. It didn't happen until years later. But it sounds like a coming out song retrospectively, right? Doesn't it? So maybe that's also sort of, is there a way that you can more gently come out? Like dip your toe in to letting your friends and family know something about yourself that you've been wanting to let them know for a while? Yeah, it's just like, the phrase that's in my head right now is like, get right with God. Get right with God, and then you're gonna be fine, you know? Whatever that means for you. Whether, you know, you literally believe in God, or you have a relationship to a particular deity that is important to you. Like, whatever it is. And I do think this involves journaling. And especially, like, okay, I'm also just seeing, like, the fact that we've got, this is such a brilliant Five of Cups, by the way. The fact that we've got, he's lost in the labyrinth of his mind. You know, there's no way out of that. It just keeps going around and around and around. There's no exit to this maze. And he's submerged up to the sternum. Or diaphragm, or whatever this, that's sternum, right? He's drowning. And his thoughts are just going around in circles and circles. And we have that here too. Only hers is, her circular thing is more womb related. So that kind of brings me back into, like, you know, not to get real like menstrual cycle centric here. But for those of y'all that have one, having these full moon cards, having this situation happening here, we could even see this as a cycle. You know, like here we are in the Nine of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, clarity and eternal life, joy and freedom, all over here on this side, versus this grief and despair and addiction and apathy. I think it's about embracing both of these moments, you know? Because sometimes we are going to be more in the despair side of things. We are going to get caught back up in our addictions again. It doesn't mean that we're weak and we have no willpower and, you know, shit like that. It doesn't mean that. It means we're human. We can get back on the wagon anytime. Because we know what's good for us. We know how to live life. we're not giving ourselves enough credit for it. And I think this is a window into, like, we can see it. It's like, I feel like I don't know, like success, achievement, recognition, it's all on the horizon right now. And we can just reach out and grab it. It's like, that's kind of what he's doing. You don't know what he's reaching for, but he's reaching for something. Or maybe he's just dancing, but maybe he's reaching for the flowers right here that this person's offering. Writing is going to be important when you're in these moments like this. When you're stuck in the labyrinth of your womb or the labyrinth of your mind. When you're beholden to your hormones. You know, we've got that sort of moving energy here in the full moon card too. I love these sort of like sweeping bits of lavender or whatever that is. I'm seeing it as lavender. Okay, I said I was going to read from the Feathered Omens guidebook, and I haven't done that yet, so let me look up Ren really quick. Oh, sorry. It's loud. There are times to sit back and watch and times to take action. Ren's appearance now is a sign for you to be bold and resourceful in all of your activities. Do not be afraid to speak up and let people see and know who you are. See and know who you are. There's someone I forgot to be. I just hope you understand. There's something you should know. There's someone I forgot to be. I just hope you understand. Sometimes the clothes do not make the man. Okay, don't do it. Don't do it. Hold back. Don't start singing that entire song. Okay, if you are confident in your abilities, others will be confident as well. You are prepared. You have laid the proper foundation, and now is the time to act on it. Hesitancy now will cause you to lose an opportunity that may not come back around for a while. This is that moment, you know? Sorry, I keep putting this stupid cup in the way. This is this moment of clarity. This is happening. You have had an idea about an epiphany, an idea, a way that you want to live your life, and you've put things in place. This could even be like sort of a reinforcement of your goals for the year. Like if you're somebody that like does a lot of journaling and planner stuff, and like you have specific tangible goals that you want to achieve in 2024, and like you're halfway through the year, you've done a lot of progress, but you haven't actually done the thing. It's like you've done the research and you've built up the momentum and you've set some things in place, but you haven't actually started walking that path yet, maybe. Or you have, but you're having like a moment where you feel you're losing steam or losing confidence in it, maybe. Or everything's like bleh, or it could also be that you are still doing the thing. You are still doing the thing. You still have momentum. You're taking it day by day. Everything's going well, but you do still have these like dark moments. You know, I'm particularly seeing how the colors in these clouds are matching up to the colors here of her like spiraling shell womb. You still have these moments where maybe you're taken back to a particular traumatic event and you're just having the same it's circular emotions and circular thoughts that aren't helpful. And just because you still have those moments, you think that you haven't made the progress that you've had, but you have. you have still made incredible progress. And, you know, we're never going to be able to completely let go of grief. I'm a big fan of, like, when it comes up, wallow in it. You know? Do what you need to do. Write it out. Turn it into something. Like, the Page of Swords is somebody that can turn their thoughts and emotions into art. And you don't have to share it with anybody. I think you're going to connect to people if you do, so I would encourage you to. Even if it's just like, you know, texting a few friends to show them something that you've made this week or whatever. Okay, sorry, I keep getting away from this. If there is resistance or obstacles, confront them assertively. It will demonstrate your preparedness and your confidence in your own abilities. Others will notice. Do not worry over the little things. They will be handled in time. Keep your eye on the big picture. Be bold. Be resourceful. It is time for you to take charge of your own life or some important part of it. It will change how others view you from this point on. And then if you're interested in reading the reversed, I'm not going to read it right now. Yeah. Maybe I could just pull some more cards just for extra messages. Just final thoughts, like, because what have I given you for like actionable steps? I mean, basically, follow that. Like, if you recently had an epiphany or a spiritual awakening or just like this burst moment of clarity, or this could even be just this freedom moment of you coming out to someone about something, you making a huge revelation. I had a friend recently who confronted her mother about everything. Like, she laid it all out there. It was like fucking incredible. Like, reached right back into her childhood and protected and stood up for that little girl when she couldn't do it then, but she can do it now. Like, that is a big clarity, resolution kind of moment. It's like, I don't know how this is going to be received, but, you know, you let go of how others are going to react to what you need to say, and you fucking say it. And it's going to... I am open to love in various forms. It's going to actually connect you to someone else. Because you're going to be able... What you're going through right now is paving a path for someone else to have it easier than you're having it right now. You know? Move this up so I can put this Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like, it's a process. We're all in a process, right? We're getting there. We're doing the thing. And it's hard work, and you have to stop and look around and assess where you are. But we have come a really long way. The Nine of Pentacles is a very stable and good spot to be in. So some of this is just giving yourself credit that you are more bold and resourceful than you think you are. Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm kind of going quiet at this point. So, even though I feel like I want to keep pushing to, you know, pull more cards, have more information, I think it's probably a good idea for me to stop here. But just keep going. You're on the right path. And if you do feel like you just aren't at all in all of this joy and freedom and progress and clarity space, you feel like you're firmly here and you're just in these two cards and you're just sort of going round in circles and round in circles in your mind, is there something more I can say to help you? I mean, I think this is the advice for you. If you don't feel like you have accessed any of this boldness, resourcefulness, joy, freedom, you aren't accessing this right now. You feel like, nope, that's not me at all. I'm not on the right path. I haven't had an epiphany. What the fuck are you talking about, Mixtress? You'll get there. I'm just reminded of a really old story in my life, so there must be a reason for it, so I should share it, right? I went to the only tarot reader I've ever gone to in person. I've gone to him many times over the years. I think the first time I got a reading from him, I was probably like 15, 16, something like that. And I've been to him, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I've been to him a lot. And I'm thinking about going again. I'm hoping to go again soon, like maybe this summer or this fall. I want to go to him soon again. Anyway, he told me during one of those readings that I would meet a fairy guide, that I would have a fairy guide. And as I'm saying this out loud right now, I'm realizing, yeah, actually that came true. Because my particular, like, devotion, deity situation, I don't know really how to put that into words still. But it has sort of manifested as a fairy. Multiple, in fact. Anyway, point is, he said you were going to have a fairy guide and you were going to find her by writing to her. So for the longest time, I would go into these moments in my journal where I would start writing to her. Like, are you there? Are you with me? Are you real? And it was like the beginnings of my conversations with deity and my conversations with tarot, even though I wasn't specifically using tarot in conjunction with this at the time. It was just me journaling. It was, just me writing. And I accessed this energy in that way back then. That was my window. And I got better at that communication over the years. So if you are feeling really lost, apathetic, sad, or maybe these are the only two emotions that you're having right now. Maybe it's just you're going back and forth between grief and apathy, and you feel like you can't get out of the cycle. Writing is going to be, if not a way out of it, it's going to be a way. It's like you just need to get those. I mean, do you ever have this feeling when you're journaling? Like, this is the main way that I journal, is that I have emotions that I need to get out of my body. So I write them down. And that's often like this. It's the same thing like when I need to have a to-do list. Like, I can't, if I just sit in bed in the middle of the night thinking about all the things that need to be done, I'm not going to be sleeping. But if I get up and make a list of those things that I need to get done, then I can feel confident that those things have been written down. Therefore, I will not forget them. Therefore, I do not need to think about them right now. I mean, it doesn't always work, but I would encourage you to use writing as your tool, as your exit strategy right now. And if you're the type of person that you in the past have been hesitant to journal because you don't want that shit to be written down. You don't want people to find it, etc. You don't have to keep it. Go buy a, 70-cent composition notebook. Fill that shit up with all of your scrawlings, all of your chicken scratch feelings about everything that you would never want anyone to know, and then burn it. It doesn't have to be something you come back to, even if you don't want to. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah.